Hey there, and welcome. So, buying a home, it can feel like you're trying to find your way through a giant, confusing maze, right? Especially when you get to the whole loan part. But what if it's not a maze at all? What if it's more like a journey with a clear, easy-to-follow path? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to walk that path together.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? You go online and there's just so much information, it can feel pretty overwhelming. But here's the good news. This whole process isn't some big secret mystery.
It's actually a pretty logical process, a series of steps that take you from just thinking about a house to actually owning it. And today, we're handing you the roadmap.
And here it is, the whole journey broken down into 4 main stages. First, you've got the application. Then, the lender does their analysis. After that, it moves into processing, and finally, you cross the finish line at closing. So you ready? Let's dive right into that first step.
Okay, this is where it all starts. This is where you, the buyer, really get in the driver's seat and take that first real concrete step toward owning your own home. So your first stop is a meeting with the person who's going to be your guide for a lot of this journey, the mortgage loan originator, or MLO. They're the one who's going to help you fill out the formal loan application, and that document, it's the foundation for literally everything that comes next. Now, if you want a pro tip, think of this list as your toolkit for a super smooth process. Showing up to that first meeting with all this stuff ready to go, it tells the MLO you're serious, and believe me, it can save you weeks of playing phone tag later. It's really all about giving them a clear, confident picture of your finances right from day one.
So once your application is in, the ball's in the lender's court. This is when they start their investigation, and they're looking at 2 big things: you, the borrower, and the property you're trying to buy.
So how does a lender figure out if you're a good bet? Well, a huge part of it comes down to your credit score. Lenders love credit scores because they're a quick, standardized way to measure risk. It's not personal, you know? It's just a number that gives them a snapshot of how likely you are to pay back the loan.
So what actually makes up that 3-digit number? It's a mix of a few things, but they're definitely not all equal. Your payment history, which is really just do you pay your bills on time? That is the single biggest piece of the puzzle. After that, they'll look at things like how much debt you have, how long you've had credit, and the different kinds of loans or cards you use. But the score isn't the whole story. The lender also pulls your full credit report to see all the details. And, this is crucial, they order an appraisal on the property. This isn't just to make sure the house is in good shape. It's to protect their investment by making sure the property is actually worth the money they're about to lend you.
All right, so all the info has been gathered. Your application, your credit report, the appraisal, the whole package now goes to the final decision makers. This stage is called underwriting, and it's where they do a real deep dive, putting everything under a microscope.
The underwriter is basically the final gatekeeper. Their job is to go through every single document with a fine-tooth comb and make sure everything lines up with the lender's rules. They'll come back with one of 3 answers: approve, reject, or, the most common one, conditionally approve. And hey, if you get that last one, don't panic. It usually just means they need 1 or 2 more little things from you to make it official.
And once you get that final, unconditional approval, congratulations, you are on the home stretch. This is the closing phase, the very last step, where the property officially becomes yours. Now, this final part can have a lot of moving pieces, so it's managed by a neutral third party called an escrow agent. Just think of them as the referee in the game. They hold all the money and all the important documents in a secure account, and they only hand everything over when every single condition of the sale has been met. It just ensures a fair game for everybody involved.
At closing, you're going to see a document called a settlement statement. Now, it can look kind of like a complex spreadsheet, but it really just boils down to a simple balance sheet. You'll see 2 columns, debits and credits. Debits are just amounts you have to pay. That's money going out. Credits are amounts paid to you or for you. That's money coming in. In the end, it all has to balance out perfectly.
So as you cross that finish line, it's really important to remember that this whole journey isn't some lawless Wild West. There are actually very specific rules of the road, and they're designed to protect you.
It is so important to know that you have rights. There are federal laws in place to make sure you're treated fairly and that everything is transparent, from the moment you apply all the way to the day you get the keys to your new home.
A huge one is the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, or ECOA for short. This law is simple. It makes it illegal for a lender to discriminate against you for any of these protected reasons. Your application has to be judged based on your finances, period.
Yeah, the core idea here is just fundamental fairness. The source material puts it perfectly. Lenders must apply their credit guidelines to each potential borrower in the same manner. What that means is, the rules are the rules. They can't just change them depending on who happens to walk through the door.
And another key law to know is RESPA. This one is all about the closing process, and its main job is to prevent sketchy behavior. It basically outlaws things like kickbacks and hidden unearned fees. It ensures that the costs you pay at closing are for actual legitimate services.
So there you have it. From the application to the closing, from understanding your credit score to knowing your rights as a borrower, you now have the map. The home loan process, it's not some crazy maze designed to confuse you, it's a path. It has clear steps and rules to protect you along the way. And knowing that path, that's the first step. The next one is up to you.